So we have gathered here today to do a closing round on this 67 experiment and the Luke 10 live. And so we'll just do a sort of a check-in around that, just whatever thoughts, feelings, emotions that you have, any categories, maybe some appreciation, but other things too, if you want. So should we take just a couple, maybe a minute to quiet and reflect on what emotions come up as you think about, really sort of starting all the way back to Zach's first email and video. So just take a minute and see what comes up inside your heart about all that. I'm going to repeat what I said earlier today because it's meaningful to me. One of the most excitement and thankful parts have to do with a book that I'm reading called Skunk Works, which is about a special section of Lockheed Aerospace that is responsible for creating all kinds of amazing airplanes. So the U-2 spy plane, Blackbird, all of the stealth technology breakthrough. If you go all the way back to World War II, it's the P-38 Lightning, which I know you guys all know about that. But I love that idea of of creativity, innovation, and as you read the book, it's they're always trying things. And we tried this and didn't work, but we tried this over here and that worked a little bit. And then we tried this over here, and out of it came some pretty amazing things. And I guess for me, that's how I'm sort of framing this whole thing. And so I'm very grateful for Hillary and the part that she's played with the live streaming. I have no idea how that works. She just told me where to go and what buttons to push, which is what I need. Zach's role in all of that, amazing creativity and humor in explaining what we're all about. Highlight for me was Zach's wife, Kristen, saying, I finally understand what Luke 10's about. So that's a success right there. So anyway, that part, the Skunk Works, innovation, so appreciate the giftedness of you guys and willingness to try something. And I'm sure a lot of good things have come out of it, which I'm sure we'll unpack as we go here today. And then also things that we've learned from it, things we might do differently and all of that. I also have feelings around, we didn't come close to our goal. It was a very ambitious goal. So there's a part of me that's disappointed about that. And the whole issue of funding in general, I checked in earlier today as angry. I'm learning how to be angry at God. It's like, okay, when are you going to come through on this? What's the deal? And feeling very much, especially for some of our facilitators who are dependent upon people paying it forward. So that's probably my whole mix of emotions as I think about this whole experience. So I'm in. Let's see. Let's go to Jonathan next. How would you check in about all of this, Jonathan?
I'm feeling a lot of love. That's kind of where I came away with this. Investment is kind of the word of the day of what we were aiming for, looking for financial investment. And there was some of that. But I was interested in some of the responses, things that people were hearing during that finance circle meeting. I haven't watched it, but I saw some of the summaries, and there was a sense in which we saw God building more in the Luke 10 community and relationally. And so for me, whatever small contribution financially we were able to make, it just is more of a heart connection, being invested in who we are as the Luke 10 community. I just was, once I figured out what was going on and got over the frustration of having my life interrupted by a thing, I just wanted to be with you and enjoyed watching this unfold. Um, I don't think disappointment is really there, because I feel like the Lord is patiently going to just draw this out. This first week is just like, it's that the first week we announced it as the week, but I think it's just going to keep going. There's just potential for this to keep on growing, and people know the need, and we've communicated it well. And once these videos are out there being shared, I think more people will understand well. So hopefully it becomes kind of a snowball and continues to grow. So yeah, just checking in, feeling very connected with Luke 10 and all of you who are here.
Sweet. And by the way, curiosity is always welcome as people share. If there's something you want to draw out a little bit more in them, feel free to. Why don't you go next? How are you checking in? I'm anxious to hear what this is.
Yeah. Thankful, exhausted, curious, and hopeful. Thankful. I am a 1 on the Enneagram, and we tend to have a pretty strong inner critic. The thankfulness is because I'm not hearing anything from that part of me or those parts of me, and they're not upset at all with anything we've done yet. Maybe that'll come tomorrow, maybe that'll come in a month, but right now we are just maybe so thankful to the point of exhaustion. Like yeah, it's been really interesting to watch all of me be okay with everything that we're doing, knowing that there is room for growth and improvement, but not harboring in on the what could have been or the should have beens. So that feels really expansive and like a huge growth moment for me. Tired. I am tired. And I think the beginning of this week, maybe the second day, was really helpful to just kind of release those expectations and release the really wanting to do it. Hopeful in all of this. And I think I don't know. I think part of the hopefulness is that I really consider this a success, even though like the green bar wasn't all the way and we didn't get exactly as much or near any like significant, 100% or 90. We got a very failing grade in that mentality of numbers, but just the act of doing everything we're doing feels so successful. And so monumental that I think that overrides the numbers. I don't really like numbers anyway, so who cares? Yeah. I think also in our listening time, I realized that I think I just need to go to the water after work today. Just walk over to the harbor and just walk. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'll share pictures maybe on Discord later.
That's good stuff. So I'm fascinated by, I've gotten to know you a little bit, and I know that inner critic has been a big protector, keeping you safe. I'm fascinated that she would be better, right?
Yeah,
she's is not raising a stink at this point. How do you explain that?
Well, since this is the only time I've really thought about it, I might be verbal processing here, so stop me if it's too much. But I think it's the amount of support and continual verbal confirmation and texts and emails, gentle, curious questions at the beginning, just our check-ins, our rhythms of being community together has really just released tensions. And with my own awareness, I can feel those tendencies to go there, but that inner critic and I have worked on and been like, oh, okay, no, that's an outward opposing thought that this should look different. It's not an inward outward thought. It's something coming in, so we can just say no thanks. That's not us. And just keep going. And maybe that sounds crazy and we can talk more later if That sounds weird.
No, no, I
But that feels like a big shift for me.
appreciate all the work you've done on that. Tony, what'd you go next?
So I'm thinking of the whole experiment. I just wrote down like what I'm feeling. So I don't know, these might not be feeling words, some of them are. Amazing journey. So the journey has been amazing for me. Incredible experiment. So I feel delighted and excited and satisfied about the experiment that we have just engaged in, and carried by God into this, because 3 weeks ago we didn't even know what we were going to do today. I mean, this week. So like literally God gave us the right things at the right times and gave each person on the team different pieces to this crazy puzzle. So I just think, wow. And we all were entering this week. I know it came quickly for all of us, which obviously we would want that not to be the case next time, but it came quickly, and we said yes to it because we felt like God was leading us and carrying us. And me, Zach, and Hillary, neither one of us felt like this was heavy at all, but we felt like it was super exciting and we wanted to go for it. And John and Kent were like, okay, go for it if y'all got this energy. So carried by God, incredible, and then proud of us, the us that is us, because so many people showed up, watched, pitched in to make it happen, interviewed, hosted, did live leader team meetings with, like it was just really amazing to me, the us that we are, and that we could do that. The flow, I felt like I was in flow, and that y'all were in flow, that we were in flow all week. And that when there were any bumps there, we just handled them so well and so easy to take care of. And like Hillary said, really because of our rhythms of attention and the way that we are. And so feeling deeply satisfied with the work that we did. Again, I'm like Hillary, I can't control the outcome of how many people donate, but I can do this well and live it well in journeying with our people, right? And that's what I was responsible for, what Hillary and Zach and all of us are responsible for. And I feel like we did what God asked of us really well. And then I feel a slight vulnerability hangover. Those of you who know Brene Brown will just hold all of us in prayer, because if anyone is going to attack Luke 10, they have all the ammunition they could ever want now to do that. And so that puts us in a very vulnerable place and can be a little scary. And personally, for 3 on the Enneagram, what that looks like is, I kid you not, my brain will replay every single conversation from the entire week that was live. And it is going, you should have said that. You should have said that. Oh my God, you handled that terribly. What were you thinking? They're going to crucify you for that one. Oh, and it can be a little crazy making. Thankfully, I know how to quiet. So thank God I have that skill. So I do quiet and listen to Jesus on kind of every one of those things, so that they don't overwhelm me. But the vulnerability and the fear is, or excited fear kind of is still there, of just, oh goodness gracious, what are people thinking, and how are they misunderstanding, and how are, anyway, vulnerability hangover. Love that Brene Brown has defined that for us.
That sounds exhausting. Wow. Replaying everything.
It is exhausting. Yeah.
Great
Those are
comments.
two such things.
Great comments though, Tony. Thank you. Zach.
Checking in. So like a lot of you, there's a mix. It's the whole spectrum, I think. I think today, the last few days have been a little more like heavy and deflated, I think. Some discouragement probably. And then, which comes from kind of just like watching that progress bar and, constantly there's this other identity of Zach involved in this experiment, which is like me, my life stage right now is moving into a marketing and copywriting business. So So, which was at play a lot in this experiment. So I'm feeling that piece like heavily, like I'm very results oriented when on that part of who I am. And so I couldn't help. I had to constantly like call myself out of it and be like, this is a team, like we're together in this. But I would constantly go to that, like, come on, like yeah, so that was a big piece over the last few days. And then, which was coupled with, I think, the vulnerability, not like I'm not becoming vulnerable in a talk, but being tired and that being vulnerable in the sense of weakened, tired with stuff going on with the babies lately and not getting a lot of sleep and things like that. So anyway, so there was that piece going on, sort of like heavy, a mix of heavier emotions. And then throughout this experience is like massively joyful, and I called it redemptive at one point, like the way that we work together, the way that we are raising funds, yeah, the way that we function on the staff level, it was very redemptive for me, because I couldn't help but think back on like youth pastor days, which were very lonely, and yeah, being alone was like a defining characteristic in hindsight, in those days. And so being on this team, it was very redemptive and high joy constantly, even when it was like hard things, like joy as we call it, glad to be together no matter what. So yeah, as we were dealing with, we're working through creative things and disagreements, problem solving, all kinds of things, shifting deadlines, but it was like joy. And so that was very redemptive and very, yeah, it was great. It was a great experience. So yeah, definitely a mix there. So yeah, I'm in.
Anything we can help with on the heavy side of those emotions?
No, I think just being with me today on the call, and I feel better today. I've been getting a little more rest the past couple of nights, and that's helped me to even out. And Tony had mentioned quieting a few times over the past week, and I realized that was a vulnerability as well. So I've been trying to give some attention to that. So on the practical side, so yeah, just you guys being with me today is great, and appreciated.
Thank you. Ryan, would you go next?
Sure, yeah. I had a mix of emotions, appreciation, tender, hopeful, and curious. I think the things that I appreciated is that I appreciate that Luke 10 is somebody who practices, and practice means experiment. And I appreciate that you experiment in like reality and in public. I think that increases faith and challenges me to think differently about things. So I definitely appreciate that part of it. I actually wrote down transparency and vulnerability. We talk about within our own churches, transparency to come to any of our meetings or circles or whatever we have. And I think I'm just really encouraged that you guys were willing to like put it out there. And I think as a leader, I very much respected that vulnerability. And I think I felt tender for all of you in doing that, because I probably have some of Tony's like, oh my gosh, like you're saying that out loud. Okay, cool. Like that's pretty brave. So I'm really grateful for that modeling. And I think that that's one of the other big words of appreciation for me, is that I think you're really modeling something that's really, really powerful for everyone that got to see it. So anyone that it was one of those 517 impressions, I don't think they'll do life the same because of your modeling here. So that's really neat. I guess I'll pause for a second before I move to the tender emotion. Anyone have a curious question, or are you okay with everything I said? Tender, I feel tender for you guys as a team about the money. I have my own questions with God about money and what he's leading me into in terms of my next steps of life and ministry. And I just know that my identity, my like calling, all those things that I feel and am trusting God for are like, I hate when it touches money. And I want it to like not be part of the equation. And so I feel tender for you guys about that. And I often wish like, I wish I could just solve this problem. How can I solve it? So I definitely feel that for you all. And I think in that, I mean, I come across a lot of people right now that are in really difficult circumstances with money. And I'm thinking about pastors in particular. I've had 2 friends who I've met with for the last 3 years for prayer here in Vancouver. Both of them are leaving the ministry. Obviously lots of other things involved, but money was like the breaking point, or the like, this just like, I couldn't admit it to myself until I like kept looking at my checkbook and then did it. And so I think it is a tender time for Christian leaders, for people who are trying to trust the Lord for ministry, and models are changing. And I think that that's what's hopeful for me about what you guys did do, is that I think this was something different. And so I think it is a hopeful practice or experiment that is, like I said before, like a model for other people. I don't think we can try the same things again. I think we have to do it differently. I think the ways that you modeled transparency and vulnerability are the things that most people that I hear like on the street that have trouble giving to things feel like are lacking. And so the fact that you would fling the door wide open and use technology, and I'm excited by that. I get hopeful about that, and I'm hopeful for how we continue to iterate and learn from each other about these things. So I know I'm looking forward to the conference this year. That was my other hopeful thing. My wife Rebecca is coming for the first time, so I'm super stoked about that. Yeah. And we have one of our other leaders, a single lady, who's going to be coming as well. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. Then my last curious thing is that you guys keep talking about quieting, and I'm wrestling with that. So I would love someone send me a note on what I should read or what YouTube video I should watch, because I'm intrigued.
Oh, great stuff, Ryan. Wonderful perspective. We appreciate that.
Welcome.
Shannon, love to hear from you.
Thanks, friends. I think I will check in maybe with the heavy ones first and the happier ones second. But kind of like John, I'm checking in with a little anger. I think like I just want this to get going. Like we're trying to change Christian culture, and this is such a key part of it. And I was very impacted by John's early podcast episodes about how the revolution was funded. Before I had even joined Luke 10, I was really captivated by that. And I just want Jesus to make it happen more fully in our community so that we can be an example for making this shift in the broader Christian community. So I'm feeling a little frustrated. And yeah, just maybe like, come on, God, what's going on? That's the sort of energy that's behind that one. I have a super strong part of me that's very attached to outcomes, like kind of like Zach and Tony were saying. And a lie that part sometimes believes is you're alone and it's up to you. And so one of the great things that I so enjoyed during this experiment is how obvious it is that we aren't alone and it's not up to us.
Yeah.
That's such a healing message for me and on so many levels. And so observing our community, what does it like us to do, to be experimental and to be gentle with our weaknesses and to be vulnerable and to try stuff and to most importantly do it together while we're listening to Jesus. So gosh, it was just so beautiful. I loved it so much. It made me love being with all of you even more than I just didn't even know I could love it more. And so I'm also checking in, just full of love for our community and feeling even more of a sense of belonging. So I'm feeling tender about all of that as well. And John, when you first said, let's take a minute to see how we're checking in on this, I just laughed so hard inside. One of my favorite things ever was when Zach rubbed his jacket in the first video and said, "Oh, that's going to work out really great on the video." It just cracked me up so much. And I have not stopped thinking about it since, just as I just love the creativity in those videos. And I love the, here we are, like fully committed and very creative and capable, but not overproduced or, I don't know, that part stuck with me. It was super fun. Thank you, Zach, for drawing us into the story in such a creative way. And I still laugh at that part. It was good. So that's me. I'm in.
Wow. Thank you, Shannon. That stuff you shared makes it all worthwhile. I think, that you felt so good. I felt even more drawn in to Luke 10. And you and I, we'll be frustrated together, right? Yeah. I'm with you on that one. Okay, thanks.
I'm sure there's a part of me who's angry and frustrated. We're just too tired to feel it. and yeah, Zach too.
I felt it all this morning and now it's washed over me.
I will qualify that briefly by earlier this week when maybe it was 2 days ago, I was listening on the question of what do we need to know about this experiment and the finances. And I did sense Jesus saying, sort of a gentle reminder to me that culture change takes generations. It's not on my schedule. I want to see it right now. And that this doesn't mean that he's not seeing us or not paying attention to our obedience. And it doesn't mean that he's not making it happen. So for what it's worth, that I heard that when I was listening.
Well, when you guys have rested up a little bit, we'll have another session just to be angry. So let me know when you're ready for that one. I'm going to do a seminar on how to be really pissed off at God. So let me know.
Can it be participatory and we like break plates or like throw axes
We
too?
might have to, throw axes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Like
just a group.
Yeah.
I've got some Psalms queued up that I've been using lately, so I'm gonna be good to go.
Imprecatory Psalms.
Yeah.
Less though imprecatory, because those are angry at other people. I like the ones that are angry at God.
Yeah. I love speaking of being modeled, right? That is so clearly modeled in scripture.
Yeah.
And for one part of my inner world, Job is my favorite book. Nobody gets more angry at God than Job. That's powerful stuff.
They're probably technically laments.
Yeah. Yeah. Why did you even let me be born?
Yeah. How long, O Lord? How long?
Yeah.
Hearken to me. Listen to my prayers. When will you answer?
Listen up.
Yep.
Yep.
I got some practice with those. So if you want to uncork it, let's have some fun.
Tony probably won't let us do it on this particular video, but we'll figure it out.
I'm feeling a breakout in the conference, crashing plates or something,
There you go.
breaking out and lamenting,
Good times.
anger.
Good time.
That's one where we'll get in trouble, but we'll tell him Tony made us do it.
If we're still not funded by the conference, I will definitely join in on that meeting.
Awesome. I
You
look
know,
forward
that's
to
why
it.
they're called breakout sessions.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
My husband will be right there by my side. I'm sure it would probably be very healing for him.
Okay, Susan, you're up.
Okay. Yeah, so I think I can definitely relate with all the things that have been shared so far. One frustration that I have that's more just for me and my situation is because we came up with this idea and implemented it in like 4 days or something like that crazy. I didn't have time to kind of arrange my schedule and you know, plan ahead. And so for me, this has been I mean, I'm not even going to try and compare myself to what Hillary's done, but it's definitely been frustrating and tiring. And, you know, we just get here to Texas and we're trying to get business and we're not having internet. And every time I get on a call, I have to go to town. So it's just been frustrating. So that's it.
Just like a two to feel that way. I love it. That's so beautiful. So, Kent, we see your picture. Are you present?
So good to see you guys. I'm checking in as very grateful. I guess some of the things that several of you said there about gratitude for the community. I'm especially deeply grateful for the young leaders among us who have invested so beautifully and creatively and energetically in this project. You know, when people get as old as John and me, you start to think about, okay, are the things that I'm investing in, you know, cared for the long haul? And seeing you guys step up this week has been really a beautifully affirming thing to me. I looked at the faces on the screen here, and of course, there's so many others who are part of this ecosystem of grace, and it makes me happy and deeply grateful. You know, I think anytime you go for a concrete outcome and you don't get that, there is a sense of disappointment. But that's a very small thing for me in the grand scheme of things this week. The numbers, while they're not close to the percentage that we were hoping for at this point, are nevertheless significant. You know, it's close to 30,000 a year that we didn't know we had 2 weeks ago, and that's awesome. That's wonderful. As I often like to say, you know, the best time to assess the reality of a situation is not two and a half days after the crucifixion. We need a little more time to understand the breadth and the beauty and the magnitude of what's underway here. So I think we are right in the middle of the story of God. I think, as several of you have really well pointed out, this thing that we're after is as hard as it gets, because we're after the coming of the bride of Christ. There's no challenge in the universe that compares with the thing that we have taken on, you know, full on, full in, all in. And of course it's going to be hard, right? Why wouldn't the world, the flesh, and the devil all be throwing everything they have at us to stop this thing that God's up to, which is the formation of a bride made up of people from every tribe, tongue, family, and nation. Right?
Glad we're
Yeah.
recording this time, Kent. That's good.
So yes, I am, with all those other feelings, I'm just feeling very full and grateful today for you, all of you who are here, for so many others who contributed to this, and for the amazing story, the astounding invitation that we have all accepted to come and share God's delight. That's me.
Wow. So you guys realize you're seeing something that's not it's very rare, right? With Kent, when he gets emotional, that's a big deal. This is important.
I
Thank
don't know
you.
though. It's been
Thank you.
happening so much more frequently, John, that
Well, that's
we
true.
might have to change.
I
Kent's
think,
statement.
yeah, I think John's wearing me down.
Well, thank you,
What
Kent.
was happening?
We love seeing your heart.
Mhm.
So let's maybe give Jesus a chance to check in on all of this. Hillary? Comment?
Shannon had her hand raised.
Oh, I'm sorry, Shannon, excuse me.
Okay.
I was just going to say thank you to Kent for framing that so beautifully for us in the bigger picture of what God is doing. But I also wanted to appreciate Kent for something different when I got to watch your Gentle Curiosity with Tony, and then and that was so fun to get to know you a little bit better through that. But then I also got to see, when I forget which circle it was, whichever one it was, but you were doing the check-in round, and Kent checked in with gratitude for Tony for giving him the opportunity to tell his story and to be asked curious questions. And I was so impacted by that, Kent, because isn't that what, I mean, we all long to be seen and heard, but very few of us, I think, would announce to everyone that we were happy that we were seen, that given the opportunity to be seen and heard. I thought that was so beautiful that that you were, in your interaction in the group that day, and the gratitude that you expressed to Tony for that opportunity. So that really impacted me, and I wanted to thank you for it.
Thank you, Shannon.
Any other comments anybody would like to make? I thought we might take a little time to listen to the Lord and see what he'd like us to know today. But any other observations or comments or anything?
Yeah, a reframe that's helped me be less negative, and I'm wondering if around the numbers, and I'm wondering if I can offer that to everybody, or at least share my inner thought process.
I'm good.
Yeah. So we're all very familiar with the green progress bar and the lacking and the 16 or 13%, whatever it is. And this, the product driven person in me is like, ooh, like that's not really good to put on the resume. Like, oh, I did this really great thing. Oh, did you complete your goal? Like, oh, not really. But instead of just saying it that way, we increased our monthly giving by 16% in a week. That is huge. That's massive. That is definitely something for the resume and to proclaim and just to be excited and celebrate about.
I think we actually increased our giving more than that. This is 16% of the goal that we raised, but our actual giving is only 10,000 a month right now currently.
Ooh.
So it would be.
So it's even going to be a bigger number. Look at that.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
Math.
So it's 26%, Hillary. We've increased our monthly giving
There
by
you go.
26%.
Zach, I don't know if you're still listening with your rioting babies feeling our anger, but increasing giving by 26% in 7 days is massive.
Anything else? That's a great one, Hillary. Thank you. Anyone else want to share anything?
I just want to bless you all. I got to jump off here at 2, but love you guys. Looking forward to being in person soon.
Great. Thank you, Ryan. Great to have you with us.
Bye. Thank you.
Absolutely. Bye.
Thank you, Ryan.
Well, the remnant here. How about we spend a little time, maybe, what do you think, 5 minutes? Just do a little listening. Jesus, what do you want us to know about all this? And see what he has to say. two things came to mind for me. One is I felt like the Lord said, this is a vibrant family of Jesus, like what we're doing today. And that he really enjoyed being with us. And then for me personally, I felt like he said, bring it. So sort of an invitation, I guess. So I intend to continue to do that. Hillary?
I might have missed it. What is it that he wants you to bring?
My anger.
How'd that make you feel?
Angry, but no, no, it feels inviting, and it feels healing, because that's the kind of thing I couldn't have done with my father. So this is some of the developmental stuff that I didn't get growing up that I'm learning how to do now. So.
That's cool. Thank you.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, it's a small group. Just go ahead and jump in when you want to. What did you feel like you were hearing from the Lord?
I can jump in on, because I heard something similar about us being a vibrant family. I had actual family in town this week, and it was, it kind of prevented me from being as fully involved in the experiment as I might have wanted to. But I was interested that I was longing to be with this family, even when my actual family was in town. So that to me was, a hopeful and tender thing about our community. But I also felt like just gentle encouragement from the Lord that, like, how should I say, like we need to actually do the things that we say we do in Luke 10. And I am growing in those rhythms and practicing it and being gentle with my weaknesses about those. But I was wondering how many of us really took time, actual real minutes, to listen to Jesus on the question of what do you want me to do about supporting Luke 10 financially. I'm just curious about whether we all did that. And that was just, so I just was hearing Jesus' encouragement to continue to actually spend time listening and actually really check in and do those things that we and encourage others on our leader team or the other people in our community to really actually do the things. I don't know. I feel like this experiment really drew me in closer, and I just want that for everyone. In all the people maybe on the periphery of Luke 10 who might have done Church 101 and they see an email from John White and they may or may not open it. I was just longing for people to catch the fire of what really doing the practices can be. That was it for me. Amen.
Thank you.
I didn't hear a whole lot. I think I'm really tired. So what I did hear was Jesus saying, just rest for now. And I'll let you know what you need to do next when it's time. Because, I have been listening every minute of the day, Shannon, around, God, what do you want me to do? I've contacted individuals. I have sensed the Lord saying, oh, you didn't even tell your family. 3 days in, it was like, your family doesn't even know this is going on. And I was like, oh, and so texted all my close family women that love me and said, hey, by the way, I've got this thing going on this week. Can y'all hold me in prayer, please? It's like, it just occurred to me to tell you about it. And then, contacting our supporters and letting them know what was happening. And so every day there's been another kind of task that I felt like God said, do this, do this, do this. And so I've just kind of been really in motion when I wasn't sleeping. And so that was nice to just hear him say, just rest now, just rest. Like you've been following me all week. You've been doing what I tell you to do all week. Like just rest, and I'll let you know when it's time to do something else. And then I just sensed him say, good job. Like
Yeah.
you guys did what you did it. You followed me. And that's all I asked it of you. I didn't ask you to do anything more than that. So that was just sweet. Makes me want to go celebrate and rest and just enjoy my family the rest of the day. So
Did a great job, Tony. I agree with Jesus on that. So, way to go.
I'll jump in after that. Mine was a little similar. So I just felt like I heard him say, my heart is full of pride and joy in my people. I'm so delighted with the journey that you are willing to embark on. Not many people would be willing to do what you're doing, and I love it. I welcome all of your emotions and value them. Thank you for being open and honest with me and each other. So,
That's an encouraging message. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Susan.
thank you.
But I heard similar to Tony in just the rest. It's going to be really hard for you to rest, but you have to make time to rest and reset. And just kind of the lived experience of I brought this to you when it was time. I will also bring the next steps to you when it's time. You know how to sense that for me, right? I was like, oh yeah. Like, so just roll into it.
Makes me think of the word faithfulness that, scripture says it's required of a steward that they be found faithful, which I always think is just follow through, that we just do what he tells us to do. And I think you two especially have done a great job of that. I think you've listened well and done what he told you to do. And I think there is that well done. That's good. Zach, back from the riot.
Yes, back from the riot. Kristen took the babies around the corner in the stroller. So, yeah, so I was able to listen for a second. Yeah, so the first thing was I closed my eyes and for a moment and had this sense of like, I opened my eyes and there's this reality and my frustrations and mixed emotions and what's in front of me. And then with my eyes open and my eyes closed, it's like going through this veil of the peace of God and receiving of his comfort. And it's anyway, it's kind of hard to explain. So I'm trying to like articulate it. But I sense him saying like, let me make sure I read it. He said, notice what happens when you're together with these people. It's not so different from this alternate reality, which I think is like this heavenly plane. And I said it. He said, "You're frustrated with the outcomes, and that's okay. But notice the vibrancy in front of you, bright as the sun among you." And so, yeah, I felt like he was calling my attention to these like heavenly realities, these things that flow from his heart that are here among us and in a really rich way, in our conversations and what we've been doing all week and what we do all the time. yeah, and then I felt like he said, I'm beside myself with joy, with the kingdom advancing that happened this week. It wasn't in the dollars and cents. It was happening in the relationships and spiritual vitality together. And I couldn't even fully articulate, but just this sense of like, there was massive vibrancy and forward motion and victory and like spiritual, there were spiritual victories being advanced that were going on beyond the fundraiser. Yeah, so that was it. That's what I had today.
I think what a lot of us are struggling to articulate is that we've experienced some right brain realities that have to do with relationships and community and heart and emotions. The 13% or whatever is more of a left brain quantity thing, which is important, but I think we're all saying the right brain ways that we've engaged with each other and with the Lord is what is most meaningful to us, so most important. So it's good stuff. Well, thanks you guys. Thanks for carving out some more time here. And I pray for you guys, especially that you'll be able to really relax tonight, tomorrow, and get allow the Lord to refresh you. Yeah.
Thanks for facilitating this, John.
What's that?
I said, thank you for facilitating
Oh,
this.
you're welcome. Glad to do that. All right.
Love you guys.
Love you guys. See you soon.
So much.
Thanks,
Yeah.
friends.
Bye.
Bye.